So in preparation for the Fantastic Four First Steps, I will be reviewing all the prior Fantastic Four movies, starting with the Fantastic Four 2005. So let's get into it. So kicking things off, I want to talk about first the story, because the story is actually really good and fun in this movie. And of course, it's a Marvel Fantastic Four movie. You expect it to be fun, and fun it is. The story is very action-packed and entertaining from start to finish, and there's some good comedy thrown in there thanks to the Human Torch and the Thing, and their scenes together are definitely really good, and you could definitely feel the chemistry between all the actors and actresses on set. They do really well all together, and they truly do make a Fantastic Four. But yeah, the story is just great and very entertaining in this movie, and a lot of that comedy does come from the Human Torch, like I said, played by Chris Evans, who did a great job in the role, and also Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, was a great character, and like I said, those two, anytime they were on screen together, they were just shooting out comedy gold, and yeah, they had great chemistry. And also, Lone Gruffudd as Mr. Fantastic definitely put the cherry on top for the cast and the story, definitely, because his character definitely contributed a lot to the story and was a lot of the reason why it was so great. Mr. Fantastic is really great in this movie, a great character, but we'll get into that later in the video. But yeah, just to wrap up what I thought of the story, it was great. It was very entertaining. You'll never feel bored. You'll always be entertained. You'll be laughing, and you'll sometimes be in total suspense. But yeah, the story is just very good and goofy and fun. So now I want to talk about the action in this movie, and the action and story definitely go hand in hand, same with comedy, but we're still going to break it down because those are elements of the movie that I really enjoyed. So back to the action. There was some great action sequences, especially in the final battle. Doctor Doom as a villain is great, and of course Julian Mahone as Doctor Doom does a phenomenal job in bringing the action to the heroes at the end of the movie. But leading up to the final battle, where you see the most action, there are a few scenes that you do get with the Fantastic Four teaming up and trying to help people. Like, you have this scene on a highway where everybody uses their powers to help a fire truck that is literally hanging off of a bridge, which was a really cool scene. And yeah, there's a few more action sequences definitely in the middle there. But yeah, in Marvel movies or just in superhero movies, you always look for action, and action usually is supposed to be the best thing about the movies, and usually they are, and in this movie it's no different. Like, there was another scene in the middle of the movie where the Thing and the Human Torch get in a little scuffle, and the Thing tries to press forward and punch the Human Torch, but then Mr. Fantastic gets in the way and basically swallows that punch with his flexibility. But yeah, cool scenes like that make the action in this movie really fun and really creative and cool. And the action in this movie is definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's one of my favorite parts of any movie, and it's what I look for most in reviews. But yeah, just to wrap this segment up, the action is really entertaining and fun. So now I want to talk about the comedy in this movie, because the comedy is definitely mixed in there really well with the emotion and with the action as well, you know. And like I said earlier, the comedy in this movie definitely comes most from the Human Torch. You know, he definitely injects a lot of comedy into this movie, and his interactions with all these other characters, like I said, his interaction with the Thing is also a huge part of why this movie is funny. His interactions just with the entire crew are always very funny, and in this movie they do balance the comedy with the seriousness pretty well, and you don't get tired of the comedy in this movie. It happens at the perfect time, you know. It's not overused and it's not underused. It's perfectly used. And also, a lot of comedy in this movie does come from the effects of, like, when Mr. Fantastic stretches out. Like, those effects you're just gonna laugh at, even though they're not really supposed to be funny. You're just gonna laugh at because this was like a 2005 movie. They didn't have the best effects for something like this. But yeah, as far as the comedy in this movie, it's great. It contributes great things to the movie and makes it so entertaining when you don't get action scenes, you know? So now I want to start breaking down characters and my opinions on them and the portrayals from the actors and actresses on them. So first up, let's go with the Human Torch, played by Chris Evans, because the Human Torch in this movie, like I said, I have already basically spoke very positive about him. He has injected so much much comedy into this movie, and it's perfectly balanced, you know? There's some serious scenes with the Human Torch, but there's also a lot of comedic scenes with the Human Torch. But overall, he gets along pretty well with the rest of the crew, and also you're just gonna love his character. Chris Evans played him to perfection, and even like in recent years when we saw him in Deadpool and Wolverine, he was great then too. But yeah, Chris Evans as the Human Torch was a great casting choice, but I'm excited to see how Joseph Quinn plays the Human Torch because he's looking like a great, interesting character in that movie as well. But sticking to Chris Evans' portrayal as the Human Torch, he did great in the role. So now I want to talk about the character of Sue Storm, played by Jessica Alba in this adaptation of the character. She does a phenomenal job in the role, and it is very nice and a definitely peaceful element of the movie seeing her relationship with Mr. Fantastic kind of grow, you know, and even in these two movies that we get with these characters, you definitely see their relationship grow. They get married in the second one, and yeah, her character is just definitely associated with some peaceful, calming, and well-written moments in the movie, so she's just a great overall character, and there's not much more to say. She has a cool power of basically being able to put shields around herself and other people, and also turn invisible, which is really cool, and yeah, there's not much more to say besides all that. So now moving on, I want to talk about The Thing, played by Michael Chiklis. Michael Chiklis does great in the role as The Thing. He definitely provides an entertaining performance, and his chemistry with the other characters is really, really entertaining to see on screen, and you don't get bored. Anytime you see The Thing on screen, you're in for a great scene. Either a comedic scene, a serious scene, or emotional scene. It doesn't matter. He is still great in that specific scene. You know, he's good literally in any scene you see him in this movie. And the actor behind him really does a phenomenal job. And you are very entertained with the scenes you get with him, like his little scuffle with the Human Torch that I talked about, or his scene on the bridge where he picks up the bus from falling off the bridge. That was a great scene as well. But yeah, besides that, there's really nothing to say. He's a great character, played brilliantly by a great actor. So now I want to talk about my favorite character of the movie, Mr. Fantastic, played greatly by Lone Gruff. Mr. Fantastic in this movie is a really interesting and entertaining character to follow. His relationship with the other characters, and especially Sue Storm, is really nice to see, really fun to see, and of course the action sequences you do get with his character using his power of stretching his limbs out is really entertaining, but also you get those goofy effects with him anytime he stretches a limb. Anytime he stretches a limb, you get a very fun like visual effect with that because it looks very, very weird, and that is definitely where a lot of that comedy comes from that's not supposed to be funny, but you're just gonna laugh at. But yeah, his character was a great addition to the movie, and Lone Gruff definitely played him perfectly. But I cannot help be excited for what Pedro Pascal is gonna do with the Mr. Fantastic character, and I'm really excited to see what he does do with his character. So now I want to talk about the character of Dr. Doom in this movie, played by the late great Julian McMahon. Dr. Doom in this movie is a really, really awesome character. You could just throughout the movie see his descent into the evil villain he becomes, and his Dr. Doom suit is really, really cool in this movie, and the final battle we do get with his character going up against the Fantastic Four is really fun and entertaining to see. And yeah, there's really not much to say about his character. He's a great character, and Julian McMahon did a great job in the role. So now finally I want to talk about the final battle. The final battle in this movie is very, very entertaining and is the biggest and best action sequence of this movie, and Dr. Doom definitely poses a huge threat to the Fantastic Four, and overall this final battle is really, really entertaining, you know. And the coolest thing that I could really take from this final battle is when Dr. Doom has the Thing on the ground and is about to impale him, but then the Fantastic Four all team up and use their powers to stop him from killing the Thing, and they all basically stand united, and it is just such a cool scene and makes for a great end to the movie because obviously they from that point on take Dr. Doom out pretty easily and pretty quickly. But yeah, that's really when the movie ends. So just to wrap it up, this movie does get an 8 out of 10. It was a great movie. It wasn't the best because of the goofy visual effects, but it was still a great film. Great action sequences, great comedic sequences, and yeah, that's really all I have to say. And stay tuned for my Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer review, and then we're going to be doing the review for the reboot, and then I'm going to go see Fantastic Four First Steps and get that review out for you guys, so stay tuned. But thank you guys guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review.